Hello, I remain Honorable E.J. Agboanyima, Federal Commissioner, Code of Conduct Bureau. Of course, your friend and your brother. And today we have a wonderful man, my own mentor, a man I have looked up to for many years, growing up. In America, he excelled. He did very well before retiring. Even though he's retired, I said he's not tired. I have with me a friend, a father, an uncle, Dr. Oboma Asemota, a general surgeon. You are welcome to Nigeria, sir.
Thank you very much.
I just wanted to talk to you and tell us what you think we can do to put Nigeria in the right perspective. It takes a village to raise a child, like J.F. Kennedy. J.F. Kennedy rightly said, the former president of the United States, he said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country, individually, collectively. You can do for your country, your state, your local government, your community. Now, tell us about yourself, sir.
Well, you already mentioned my name, Oboma Asemota. I just retired as a general surgeon. I graduated from the University of Ibadan.
So, University of Ibadan, if you can speak a little bit louder.
Yeah. University of Ibadan, 1971.
Wow.
And I came down to Benin and did my residence, my house job there. That's what it's
University
called.
of Benin.
University of Benin. And eventually went to England and did surgery.
So you went to United Kingdom to study
and specialize in general surgery.
Specialize in general surgery.
I came back.
Interesting.
Came back to Nigeria 1978 and went back to the University of Benin for just a short while. And eventually I ended up with the General Hospital, which is now called the Specialist Hospital in Benin. I was there for just a couple of years and served as not just a surgeon, but medical director for Benin Zone. They have zones those days. I don't know what they have now. And Benin Zone had an hospital in Igwebazua, Usen, Ibanke, Abudu, and Uronigbe.
And I'm happy you still remember all these names.
Certainly. I did that for just about almost 2 years, and then I got appointed as a commissioner under Professor Ambrose Ali.
So you were appointed as a commissioner under the late
Professor
Ambrose Ali.
Yeah, that's right.
Blessed memory. He was the governor of Bended.
That's right. And he made me commissioner for finance to start.
From general surgeon to the commissioner for finance.
That's right.
Very interesting.
It was. And when I remember when I went to him, I said, I know nothing about finance. So he said, I'm a doctor like you. I know nothing about government. We have to learn together.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I was there till 1982, 83, I think, and resigned from government.
So you resigned?
Yes. And I went back to England. I wanted to go back to surgery. Went to England to get back into the flow of things. And then somebody recruited me to come to Arkansas because they were in need of people like us.
Now, Doctor, sir, going back to you growing up, looking when you used to work for the Benders State as a commissioner of finance then, before leaving to London, back to Nigeria, back to United States. Can you compare that time to this time? What can you say the little difference? The difference that you think you can think of?
Every aspect you look at, things seem to be a lot worse now than they were then. I remember those days you complained about NEPA, but the services we get now are much worse than NEPA gave us. And in fact, really now I will embrace NEPA rather than the present setup. At that time, you could walk free. You know, as a young man at the time, you could walk all night and you're not worried about being kidnapped or killed or something by some unknown persons. So security was there. The security was enforced by the police. The police was reliable at that time. You could report things to police, they investigate and get results. And the judiciary was really stellar in performance at the time. It's not easy to say that today of these two bodies. It looks like we live in a lawless environment. It looks like there are no laws. You see how people drive like they're crazy. I used to drive in this city, in Benin, but now I can't. I still drive in the United States, but I can't drive here.
You still drive in America?
That's right.
But you cannot drive here?
No, because, people just don't follow any rules, nothing. I doubt whether they still do any test before they give them licenses to drive. In fact, I don't believe many of them have any license to drive because they break all the rules. They have no patience to wait at a red light. And they can pass you right or left or something. Everybody seems to be in terrible hurry.
That's about attitude.
That's right.
Having a change of heart.
They need to. It's no use pointing fingers at those lawmen or people who in government and so on. They have their own faults, but if you take all those people, say in Abuja, and say, all the law members of the National Assembly, the president, the government, all the ministers and so on, you change them and say, okay, you stand at Eagle Square and say, anybody who passes by, you come and do this job. You just hand-pick people to replace them. They'd be worse than what these people are now. Because of the attitude of our people and the belief that you need to get into government to grab and steal. So everybody is at fault. It's not particularly anybody. It's everybody that's at fault.
It's not particularly
the politicians.
Anybody. Everybody is at fault.
That's
I
right.
like that.
Thank you. So we need a change of heart. We need a change of attitude if this country is to get better. if we don't change things, we don't have any country to come to. Many of our children abroad now are maybe lost. And as you know, Nigeria has been rated #1 in America as the most educated people, more than the Americans themselves.
Yeah, that's correct.
More than any European country themselves. But all those are losses to Nigeria. It's a serious issue.
I believe that something good can still come out of Nigeria.
Certainly.
If Nigerian rated, even in the United States,
Yes.
as the most educated people, I'm talking about Nigerians, still have wonderful Nigerians, but unfortunately, some bad eggs have destroyed the good ones.
That's right. And it's not just in this country. Nigerians are looked on as what they call 419 here, and up to some tricks to get you part with your money. Because at the time, there were letters circulating everywhere in the world.
I got many, severally, when I was in the
asking
US.
that you deposit some money in their account. The government has given them 10 million or something contract. You pay some money there, and then they'll bring the 10 million in, and then you benefit. Well, it doesn't sound right, so it's not really right. And only those who are greedy
Fair for it. Do you know Dr. Sir? I remember during my television in the United States, this was a very important issue that discussions, why they were accusing Nigerians. But I'm sorry to say, my response, they were surprised. My white brothers and sisters, they were shocked. That was when one of the pastors who sold his church, and thinking that he was going to build another sanctuary, another church. He had a little, not too big,
Yes.
but he was not hoping to build a very gigantic, church building. He was believing and hoping that he had already found money coming from Nigeria. A young man, say from Lagos, is telling you that there is 500 million. Not naira, $500 million.
Oh my goodness.
That the government gave somebody a contract, and the owner of that contract has been paid, but he happened to die. He died. And the wife wants to move the money out of the country.
Sounds like it.
Now, you now believe that maybe the young boy is probably 20 or 30, under 30. That means you, who never worked in Nigeria, who never contributed anything to the Nigeria government.
That's right.
So you are now aiding. You are now working on how to collect money. Forgetting that they said even the contract I was giving, the work was not done.
That's right.
But money have been paid. You want to take the money out of the country, not doing the job. And you are not aiding the young boy. And he now asks you, just bring only $250,000.
That's right.
Just to pay to some, government workers.
That's right.
And the bank so that they can transfer the money easily. And you are jubilating, singing, praising God, that God has opened the way for you. The way for you to steal from Nigeria. That is, the giver and the receiver are both guilty.
Exactly.
I said, both the young boy who wrote that letter telling you that there's $500 million somewhere in Nigeria to be transferred to America so you can warehouse it. It's going to be 50-50. You take 50%, he will take 50%. And you are not paid $250,000. Immediately you pay the $250,000, They are not telling you that there's another $5 million. That everything has been done is only the bigger guys, the head of authority now, they have to approve. Just waiting for approval, you need to save $5 million. You are not selling your properties. And you now send the money to the young boy in Nigeria, hoping to collect $500 million that you never worked for. Is that not criminal?
That's crazy.
So that means you are part of
That's right.
the problem. So
That's
it's a total fraud.
It is.
So don't just accuse the young boy, you must also accuse the Americans who are falling for that crap.
Exactly.
Because if you don't have the intention to defraud others, you will not. Money you never worked for.
That's right.
So seeing a crime be committed and failure to report the scene of that crime to the nearest law enforcement agency, you are as guilty as the man or woman who committed that crime.
That's true.
Is that not correct?
That's right.
Now, I want you to tell us, talking about the fight against corruption now in this country. You have lived in America now for 3 decades.
Yes, sir.
What can you tell us to help us? Having climbed the highest ladder as a general surgeon when you were in Arkansas, that is Bill Clinton, my Oga Pata, my very good friend and Nigeria's friend as well. What can you tell us, sir?
Well, it's just mind-boggling when you think about the amount of corruption that you have in this society. Like you said earlier, there's corruption in the United States, but the degree is so much here that policemen beg you for money. That's amazing. This one time I came by road to Nigeria. Back to Benin from Lagos. They stop you and ask you for money. And nobody sees that as being wrong or something. And I used to tell my friends back in the United States, look, if any country wants to invade Nigeria, it shouldn't go and spend money buying expensive weapons and so on. It should just bring the money here. And before you know it, they take over everything. Because we love money so much. No, money is useful, it's needed, but then we have to work for it. Not corruptly get money and think, oh, you've done something wonderful. So, like we said earlier, it's a whole community. Everybody in the country has to try to rescue this corruption. And say, every time you think you have cheated the government, you're not just cheating a government, you're cheating the whole people.
The whole nation.
That's right, because they are setting, for instance, in Benin area, they're setting roads that were supposed to have been constructed and have been labeled constructed. That has been done, and nothing was done in it. I remember one of my colleagues, who is a traditional ruler, he lives in the United States, he lives in Florida. A road that was supposed to pass through his community was deemed to have been done totally, and there wasn't a blade of grass that had been cut in the place. They reckoned that if they were to pursue it, it would be a wild goose chase and they would get nothing. So they had to start all over again, going to NNDC,
NDDC,
sorry, to appeal to them to, because they were the ones that were supposed to do it.
Construct the road
That's right.
in the first place.
That's right. The road is still not done till today. Because he ran around for a little while here, they brought a bulldozer, bulldozed a certain portion of the thing, and the roads are still there. That's a road that has been penciled down because he went to Abuja
Port Harcourt.
and Port Harcourt and found out that the thing has been penciled
For payment,
completed.
and they have been paid for.
They have been paid. And there are several of them like that. So everybody suffers when you think you have benefited, you are smart, you're beating everybody to it. And sometimes if you have to pass through that road yourself, you might fall into the ditches that are there. So it's going to be a total change of heart of everybody. I don't know how that's going to happen. I think probably we just pray.
I'm happy to have our big uncle, our friend, father, that we all believe in over the years in America. And today have retired. Even tried to help, brought a lot of medical equipment to help the people here in Nigeria, in our state. It will shock you to see that those equipment he brought to help those poor people who cannot afford to pay so much. The equipment disappeared, went to voicemail. That is him. And I don't know. I think all of us need to have a change of heart, like he rightly said, to change our attitude, to restructure ourselves, our soul, our mind. So at the end of the day, good things can come out of Nigeria. It is still possible, it is still doable, it is still achievable. Corruption is a problem, it's a cancer in this country. Mr. President Buhari said, if we don't kill corruption, corruption will kill us. May God not allow corruption to kill us.
Amen.
That's what we are praying for. So, Doctor, sir, I want to thank you once again for giving us the opportunity to speak. I know you'll soon be going back to America, but we still love our country. I know you love this country.
Certainly.
And don't give up on us. We still need our prayers, but we must work hard, not just praying. We need to work hard. When you are given an opportunity to work, do your best and pray to God. I bet you God will even answer you bountifully and make that whatever you are doing greater than you ever thought. So you can just look straight to the camera. Your last statement you want to say to our brothers and sisters, Nigerians?
Well, thank you very much, and I thank you for giving me this opportunity to say a few words. We've already said it all. I think this country has great future, but we have to do something about corruption. Today, many graduates are walking the street. They've been walking the street for 10 years or more, and they have no job. It wasn't like what it was in the past. And this is because of corruption. And because of corruption and intolerance, a lot of companies that would have wanted to come to this country or that were in this country and eventually moved out have all moved out and they don't want to come in. We just have to change. We just have to change our attitude. don't think that if I benefit and get all the money in the world, that I'm okay. It doesn't matter what happens to the other person. And this is what has brought about now this insecurity with people roaming around, kidnapping everybody and extorting money from people. That's, share what I would like to say.
Once again, I want to thank you for watching. I remain your honorable friend and brother, Honorable E.J. Agboanyima, Federal Commissioner, Code of Conduct Bureau. Please, ignorance is not admissible in law. Make sure you support the fight against corruption and support Code of Conduct Bureau, and the end will justify the means. Until next time, remain blessed. Bye for now.